What I think is the reason for why Korean players are so far behind EU and NA. Well, it's funny, right? Because Korea is really far ahead in like MOBA games. But in FPS games, it's not really their game. Like, they play some Valorant and whatnot, but they're not like big in Counter-Strike. They're not big in Apex Legends like Japan is, for example. So it's not like their game of choice, if you will. Oh my days. And then outside of that, it seems like, at least in Siege, I don't know if this is the same thing for like other games, but in Siege, they're not really reflecting on what they can do better. It's like they don't really read the game and what their weaknesses are. What? It's a very delayed explosion, no? Cause like, so when we joined PSG Talon, they were playing Skyscraper, for example, right? And they were just playing, and Fabian and I go, so where did you guys make this strat? Like, where did you find it? And they said, oh, we saw FaZe play Skyscraper, and we copied what they did. But they don't understand why they're doing what FaZe is doing, right? So it seems like they lack the why, they lack the how, they lack the reasonings and self-reflection. They will just copy the reinforcements, they'll copy the operators, and they'll play in those same similar positions, but they don't actually understand the overarching story or overarching purpose of the strategy. So they lose, and they're like, oh, FaZe can do it and they win, why can't we do it and win? And there's a lot of those small eye-opening moments where there are very simple solutions to problems, but they don't really realize them. And I don't know why that is, because in Europe, we've been problem-solving those issues in ranked for like 5 years straight. And then you go to Korea Pro League and they haven't figured it out. And the benefit of, you know, the game being 9 years old is that you can look at so many other people for how to play the game. Guides, those strats, Pro League teams, etc., like past tournaments. There's very little figuring out. You just copy other people and you catch up really fast. But in Korea, they don't really seem to do that. It's almost like they want to learn the hard way, which is super unnecessary. Yeah, and in MOBA games, it's completely opposite. But also in PSG Talon and in Korea, what they've done also is that, you know, they're copying League of Legends routines. So in FPS games, at least in Europe and North America, you'll maybe have a practice at 9 AM. Okay, that's not true. You'll have a practice at like 1 PM. And you'll do like 3 maps. That takes 3 hours. You finish at 4. And then like at 5, you play 3 maps again. So you have a 1 hour break. And in that 1 hour, you'll get super quick food. And you're gonna talk about your mistakes. And you're gonna have like a 20-minute break maybe. In Korea, they do the same as League of Legends. Where they have a scrim at 1 PM for 3 hours. Finish at 4. Then a 3-hour break. And then play again in the evening. But in League of Legends, the reason why you do it is because then you have like 2 hours to do match theory and talk about the games, the draft, etc. And really break things down in detail, which doesn't really happen the same way in the FPS games. But it's not like they're spending those 2 hours actually doing that. They're just having a very long break. So it's a very inefficient and long day, so to speak. But every single team in Korea basically does that because that's what works in League of Legends. That's what the best league teams have been doing for years. And if you're a region known for that, of course you're gonna follow that same formula, even though it's not working. But yeah, like Korean League of Legends are crazy. They're really, really good, they're talented, but that's not the case for FPS games. So Fabian and I are trying to implement like the Western kind of mentality. Also in Korean culture, it's very much like you get told what to do and then you do it. And in League of Legends, for example, it's like chess, right? If the enemy moves this pawn, there are good plays and there are bad plays. And it's very much like a set board. You cannot like break the perimeters. But in Siege, that doesn't work. In Siege, you have a chessboard, but you have 3 different layers, like top, down, middle, and bottom. And then you have like a bigger board with more pieces. So in Siege, it's never like, oh, when they do this, you do that. It's like, when they do this, you can do this, 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 or that. And it has to depend on these 7 billion factors, and that's why you should make this play or that play. So, when you make a strat in Korea, they follow it very, like, to the T. But you cannot make a strat that works for everything in Siege. You make one strat as a baseline with, like, 1,000 adaptations. And that's something that Korea struggles with. You know, I will say to the boys, guys, if they play Munty, you need to counter Munty, you know? For example, you can play this operator. And then they will take that and they'll just play that operator. only that operator. They're not gonna be like, but that's just one of the options. So adaptability, flexibility, and like breaking the pattern and breaking the strategy is necessary in Siege, but that's something that they struggle with as well. It'll come with time. So the PSG game is ending. Yep, we're up next. No, they certainly aren't thinking critically about the game. Not at all. Not at all. At least not our experience with it. But they're also very sweet people. Like, again, their culture is very like mellow and quiet, and you're not so direct. And then like Fabian and I are from Nordic countries, where like, you fucking suck, fix your fucking shit, you know? And you know, Fabian and I will have debrief and be like, that's a problem, you fucked up there, that's an issue, like this is wrong, like etc. And then the players are very sweet. They're like, ah, it's fine, you know, no big deal, and they're not super critical of each other. I mean, I think every pro player is critical of themselves to a certain level, but you need to make the entire team better, not just yourself. There's 5 players in a team, right? So that's something that we've been trying to bring over as well, because I think it's very necessary. And I mean, Fabian and I see it as respectful to tell your like teammates what they're doing wrong, because you're wanting to make them better. That's respect, right? I would want to make my opponent better, I want to make my friends better. But in their culture, that's not the case, because they're very respectful in their culture. A lot of hierarchy with like your age and everything else. So that's also been an adjustment. No. I'm so rusty, it actually hurts my head. Like the freest double ever. If you have like a weak player in your team, oh, actually second match today. I guess it started later. If you have like a weak player in your team, you need to make them stronger or replace them. But what would you rather, be a good teammate and kick them, or be a bad teammate? Wait, be a bad teammate and kick them, or be a good teammate and work through the problems? It's like a relationship, you know? If you have a problem with your boyfriend, girlfriend, you could be like, you know what, I'm gonna break up. This doesn't work anymore. Or you could be like, hey, actually, I've been thinking about this. Do you think that we could work on this situation together? And like this, like when you do this, it makes me feel this way. You know, that's an issue. Can you maybe change the approach or whatever? It's kind of similar to that. So the right thing is to, again, to work through the problems. And that requires you to talk about those hardships. Be like, hey, I noticed that you suck at playing this position. Like, why is that? Why do you struggle? Like, what do you need to succeed here? Then players go, oh, you know, I don't know, bad day, it's fine. Like, no, fucking tell me. Like, and then maybe sometimes the player finally goes, fuck, dude, I fucking hate playing that position. I suck at it. Like, can someone else do it? Like, yeah, of course we can. Okay, you don't want to play there? Say it. We'll get someone else to play that position. We had that in G2 all the time, where there's a very good reason why I played where I played, because A, nobody else wanted to. B, other people weren't good at it. Or C, I wanted to be there myself. Like the good old, very popular coastline blue pink bar defense, where I played by the bomb chassis next to Sauna. I was the only player in my entire team that ever wanted to do that, because I loved playing those kind of like suicide positions where position and decision making is so important, but not your aim. And I made that spot so strong that other teams would copy it and play it themselves, but fail because they didn't have the right player to play in those spots. Just like if we had an attacking strat, I never played Ashe because I'm not an entry player. Because I'm not a good entry. That's Cancer or Kitty, that's Tunas, that's other people. So of course, we're not gonna put me in entry if that's my weakness. But that only works if I tell my teammates, guys, I am not comfortable playing entry. I think I'm bad at it. I need to say that for them to know that. Unless they can just see it and go, Pengu, you kinda suck. That feels kinda bad to say. I'm not sure what's in here. Like, as a room. The door. And another door. Oh, there's another door. That's my bad. Oh, that's unlucky. A lot of doors. The spot on coast broke my will to live in scrims? Yeah. I mean, the thing is, today in Siege, there are so many solutions for everything. Back when I played Pro League, especially early on, you had like, okay, the bandage trick, what can you do? It's like Thatcher or verticality. Now you have like Sophia stuns, Maverick, secondary hard cannons. You have Ace, which is like a lot faster than hard breaching operator. Capital fire. You have so many solutions now for simple objectives that... Oh! Game is just very complex.